Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into my college football week number 11 line movement update. Of course, we're seeing major movement along many of these college football lines. Guys, I did want to share this really quickly, and I don't want to make this a thing because I just think it's funny. I hope it's not going to be a thing or anything like that. So I did a quick look ahead. They got these, 30-day forecasts on AccuWeather. And this is Columbus, guys, and you look at Saturday. It's just it's a death blow. It's worst case scenario. Now, again, let's all laugh at this. It's funny, right? This cannot be the actual forecast. That would be a total death blow. Ohio State has had such a miserable year when it comes to weather. So I mean, you can listen, 76%. That's not. It's too far away. I don't want this to become a storyline or anything like that, but I was just looking it up because other people were doing it last week, and I thought I would share because it is funny. 76% chance of rain is, cold rain. That is worst case scenario for Ohio State's offense. But guys, the line movement, how about this Cincinnati-East Carolina game? Surprising. It really is. I think there's great value on Cincinnati. I thought there was good value on Cincinnati minus the 5.5, but people keep betting it down. East Carolina getting a lot of money. This USC-Colorado line's been basically stonewalled. It moved a little bit to 34.5. It was stuck at 34. And the over-under is stuck at 66. There's strong value on the under 66, and people are in on USC minus the 34.5. Fresno State sitting at minus 9.5. This line opened at 8. It got bet up to 10, and then it came back down to 9.5. We love Fresno State minus the 9.5, and I would say take the under 61. Ohio State, Indiana opened up at 38. It went up to 41. It settled right around 40. The over-under has been moving up throughout the week. It was at 57. It's now up to 60.5, mainly due to people expecting Ohio State's offense to bounce back. LSU opened minus 3. There's been money placed on LSU. They're down to minus 4. I am against that. I think Arkansas wins this game outright, and the over-under has gone down to 61.5. There's cold temperatures expected at this, for this game at noon. Liberty and UConn, that line opened 14.5. It was bet down to 14, and now it's down to 13.5. That doesn't surprise me. That's very smart job there. Connecticut is great value here. The over-under sitting at 45. Missouri, Tennessee, it's been sitting around 21.5. It's down to 20.5 right now. The over-under at 57. Cold weather in these SEC games. Should be a little bit warmer in Tennessee, but still, right around 50, I think. Notre Dame and Navy, that line's been moving down, and it should be. It opened at 17. It's all the way down to 15.5, and the over-under's getting pummeled. It was at 41.5. It's down to 39.5. People think lower scoring, and Navy will cover. I agree with that. Oklahoma at West Virginia. This has been kind of a weird line throughout the entire week. It's been Oklahoma minus 8. It recently changed to 7.5. The over-under sitting at 68 right now. Possible colder weather in this one as well. Pittsburgh, Virginia. Pittsburgh minus the 5.5. The over-under, there's so many people that love the value of the over 41.5. And guys, the weather is phenomenal in Virginia tomorrow. It's full systems go for those offenses. We've got Purdue, Illinois. We love the under. This line opened, the over-under opened at 47. It's all the way down to 44. It's going to continue to drop. And Illinois has been kind of stonewalled at 6.5 all week. That line has been stuck. Rutgers, Michigan State. That line was Rutgers plus 10. People did find significant value in Rutgers there with Michigan State kind of having a lucky game against Illinois last week. It's been bet down a little bit to 9.5. The over-under sitting at 41. I've heard significant value isn't on the over in that game. SMU at South Florida. A lot of people in on SMU to cover this spread minus 17.5. The over-under's been 72 for a while. Beautiful, beautiful weather in that one. Vanderbilt, Kentucky. Kentucky minus 17.5. So this line opened at 17. It went to 18. It's back down to 17.5. Very cold weather in this game in Kentucky tomorrow. I do like Kentucky to cover. The over-under down to 47 from 48. Virginia Tech and Duke. Duke, 9.5 point favorites. The over-under, I believe, has been bet up to 49.5. I think it was 48. James Madison, Old Dominion. James Madison was -8. They're down to 7.5. I agree with that. I find value on Old Dominion. Over-unders at 47. UL Monroe and Georgia State. That line has been stuck on 13.5 forever. Rice and Western Kentucky. I think there's been a little bit of money going in on Rice because, again, tomorrow in Kentucky, it's going to be freezing cold. This game's going to kick off in like 35-degree temperatures. The over-under at 60.5. I would say there's value on the under, but I'm sure that line is dropped. UMass at Arkansas State. Arkansas State's been stuck at 17 for a while. I think they went to 17.5 for a little bit, but it's back down to 17. I like Arkansas State to cover. I think UMass is the worst team in FBS. Temple at Houston. Houston sitting at -20. I love Houston to cover. Also, I like the over 56.5 in this. Great weather for this game. Alabama at Ole Miss. Significant money coming in on Ole Miss here. Alabama's down to 11.5. I think they were at 12.5. People finding value on Ole Miss with Alabama losing a few games. The over-under at 65. That seems pretty right to me. I wouldn't say one way or another. Appalachian State at Marshall. App State -1. This line opened as a pick'em. Money immediately got placed onto App State. They went to 1.5. They're back down to 1. I like Appalachian State. Arizona State, Washington State, cold weather game, guys. I love the under. The over-under in this game was originally 57. It got bet up to 60. It's down to 59.5. I like the under. It's cold weather. Arizona State's offense will not operate well. A lot of money being placed on Washington State as well. Troy and Army, that over-under opened 46.5. It's down to 45.5. Troy has been stuck as 9-point favorites for a while. I think there's value on the under 45. And Army, Boston College at NC State. A lot of people betting on Boston College. They find value. It was plus 19.5. It's down to plus 18.5. And the over-under moved up a tick from 40.5 to 41. UCF and Tulane. This line's been kind of wobbling around. Tulane -1, -2. We're all seeing UCF's quarterback situation. I love the over 54.5 in this game. Very, very good weather. Charlotte and Middle Tennessee State. Middle Tennessee State, 10.5-point favorites. A lot of value being placed onto Charlotte according to betting models right now. The over-under at 67. Iowa State and Oklahoma State. Iowa State sitting -1.5. That line's been stuck, I feel like, all week. And the over-under at 48.5. It's been there the whole week unless I'm missing something. Louisiana Tech, UTSA minus the 17.5. An over-under of 68. There is value on the over in this game, believe it or not. I know it's a big number, but the expectation is these two teams could combine to score 80 points. Louisville and Clemson. So this line was 7.5 forever. It's down to 7. That doesn't surprise me. The over-under at 52. I think that's probably a pretty fair number. It's going to be beautiful weather for this game. Maryland and Penn State. So really crazy action on the over-under in this game. It opens, I believe, at 56. It got bet up all the way to 59. It's back down to 56.5. It's going to be cold. There's going to be some light rain. I came out on Monday and said I love the over 57. And it goes up to 59, but now it's back down. So very interesting. Penn State was -12. Then they went down to -10. And then now people are shifting back to finding value in Penn State. They're back to 10.5. Miami and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech clinging as 1-point favorites at home. The over-under's been stuck at 44 for a while. Significant money being placed on Michigan here with Casey Thompson out, the Nebraska quarterback. Michigan was sitting firmly as 4-touchdown favorites, 28-point favorites. They've gotten significant money. They're minus 30.5 right now. New Mexico, Air Force. Air Force has been stuck. That's not a great number to bet on, 21.5. I don't like that. The over-under at 37.5. North Texas, UAB. UAB's been -6 basically since the start. The over-under in this game's gotten bet up a little bit. That doesn't surprise me. I like the over in this game. It was 57. It's up to 58. Northwestern, Minnesota. Minnesota -17.5. I don't love that number. The over-under 41. I love the under in this game. Very cold weather. Neither of these offenses are good. Wisconsin, Iowa. That over-under is getting pummeled. It's down to 35. Very cold weather in this one. I like Wisconsin to win this game outright, but there has been a shift. Iowa was 1.5-point underdogs. They're now 1-point favorites at home. Iowa's offense has been better. South Carolina and Florida. This line was hovering around 8. It's up to 8.5. There was significant value on South Carolina to cover this. The over-under sitting at 59. It is going to be really nice weather, 79 degrees and clear for that game. Texas State and South Alabama. South Alabama, 16.5-point favorites, 46 over-under. I don't think that line has moved. Florida, Atlantic, and FIU. FAU, 15.5-point favorites, over-under of 54. I'd stay away. Georgia, Mississippi State. Georgia's minus 16.5. They were minus 17. They're down a little. There's actually a lot of people betting on the under in this game, the under 53.5. There is a fair warning. It's going to be the SEC tomorrow is going to be cold, guys. This is going to be a cold weather game. It's a night game. That's going to affect it. That's going to make it more cold. It's played fully in the dark, 7 o'clock start time. We know the sun sets earlier. So, listen, I don't know. We'll see if Georgia has a letdown game. It'll be interesting. I think everyone in college football could kind of use a closer game here because right now the narrative is that, Georgia is significantly better than pretty much everyone. Kansas State and Baylor. I love Baylor in this game. They've been stuck at 2.5. That's a very attractive number to bet, especially for a home team. Over-under at 52. I love the over in this game. Kansas and Texas Tech. Texas Tech minus 3.5. I like Texas Tech to cover in this game, and I would say take the over. Kansas's defense is really bad. Washington, Oregon. Oregon sitting at minus 13. They've been hovering around 13.5 or 13. The over-under at 73. It's going to be a very high-scoring game. I actually think this line is trended down a little bit. Wyoming and Colorado State. I love the under 42.5. It's been stuck at 42.5 forever. Wyoming is minus 8.5. Cold weather game. North Carolina, Wake Forest. So this game, I remember when the over-under was 77. It's actually gotten bet up. I do like Wake Forest, surprisingly enough, to cover the 4, but I think it's a toss-up either way. I'd stay away from it. We've got Southern Miss and Coastal Carolina, so that's all the way down to 4.5. So it was announced that Grayson McCall was out. I saw the line was 8. It immediately dropped to 5.5. Now it's down to 4.5. Coastal Carolina starting their backup quarterback there, so that's very tough to gauge. I would certainly expect the price action to be on Southern Miss. We've got TCU and Texas. Texas, 7.5. So this line opened at 7, and it's held strong, and there's money being placed on Texas. TCU is undefeated. They are ranked 4th, but they've had a lot of close games. They've been losing a lot of close games, they've been winning a lot of close games. The over-under at 65, I'd probably stay away from that. A&M and Auburn, I love the over 48.5 in this. Auburn was 2-point favorites. They're down to 1.5. Florida State and Syracuse. A lot of value on the over in this game. It's a dome. There's no weather concerns and significant money being placed on Florida State here. They were 6.5-point favorites. They're down to minus 8. Let me just click this. And once again, it does this where it messes up the late games because you have to filter through them. So California, Oregon State, so that's gone down. That was at 49. I liked the over. It's gone down to 48, Cal and Oregon State. I think that could be a fun game. We'll have to see. We've got the Stanford-Utah game. I love the under 54 in that one. Cold weather game. Going to be tough for Stanford's offense to operate. Boise State, Nevada. Maybe a few snow showers in this one. Boise State sitting minus 21. I don't think that's moved very much at all. And then we have Arizona, UCLA. So significant money coming in on UCLA here. That from the beginning, when UCLA was like minus 18, they were an extreme value bet. They got bet down to 19, and now they're down to minus 20 because Arizona's defense is so bad, and the over-under sitting at 77. It's been there basically all week. And then I think this is the second to last late night game. San Jose State, San Diego State. We love the under 41. It opened at 39. People bet it up. I don't overthink games like this. I see 2 good defenses and 2 below average offense, and I say the under's going to hit. And there's also a lot of money on San Jose State to cover the 2.5-point spread on the road. And then the final game, it's the 11 o'clock game. It is Utah State and Hawaii. There is a ton of money on the under 52.5 in this game, and there's a ton of money on Hawaii to cover the 11-point spread. I think it was 11.5. It's been bet down to 11. So that is the full line movement update here for college football week number 11. Guys, make sure you follow me on Twitter. A link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, The Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.